started like a question. No, does this hyper communication somehow affects our private way to talk to each other, or listen to each other, or are we losing the capacity to do it?
Hello, my name is Michael Stütz and I'm the head of the Panorama section of the Berlin International Film Festival. Today I'm very happy to have the director Ronny Trocker here with the film Human Factors. Ronny Trocker studied film in Argentina and France. He also was part of the Berlinale Talents in 2008. In 2016, he presented his short film The Estate here in Berlin, and in the same year, his debut film The Eremites screened at the Venice Film Festival. Hello, Ronny.
Okay.
Wonderful to see you here on screen, at least. I'm very happy that you're here with us today and that you took the time to talk to us about your film Der menschliche Faktor, Human Factors. First question. Maybe you can briefly introduce your film in 2 or 3 sentences.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Ronny. I'm a writer and director of Human Factors, and well, it's a film about a family. I would say the agony of a family, of a young European family. Parents are really successful, and they are running an advertising company. While they are in their holiday retreat on the Belgian coast, they are surprised by supposed burglars in their house. And this is a triggering element for a slow decomposition of the family. And yes, we will discover this struggle from different perspectives during the film.
Könnt ihr mal aufmachen? Was ist denn los?
Es waren Leute im Haus.
Blutest ja.
Aber c'est rien, c'est rien.
Aber wie ist das passiert?
Ich habe mich nur am Türrahmen gestoßen.
Wie das?
Jemand hat eine Tür zurückgeknallt und ich habe mich erschrocken. War eine Tür. Und die sind weggerannt.
Aber wie sollen die denn hier reingekommen sein? Verdammt.
I would be interested in what was the starting point for you to develop the script. Were there specific terms, specific sort of interests that kind of sparked your imagination? I mean, your film is a lot about perception and truth in a sense. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, there was no clear starting point. I think it was more like observations of our time, I would say. And you mentioned the question of perception. I was wondering how our way to perceiving the world is changing nowadays, with so many communication going around us, with social media, and it's more than it started like a question. No, does this hyper communication somehow affects our private way to talk to each other, or listen to each other, or are we losing the capacity to do it? So we're communicating a lot with the outside, but how does it affect somehow the inside? So or our private relations, and that was kind of the starting point of the project. And then I tried to put this in this microcosmos of a supposed picture perfect family. So that was the first idea.
Structurally, you play very elegantly with sort of a non-linear time concept, how you build and structure the story and tell all the different perspectives. How did this structure sort of came to life? Was this something that developed throughout the writing process, or did you have that in mind very early on, how you wanted to structure the narrative?
The thing is that when you start writing a story, of course, you have to decide from which point of view you're telling the story. I mean, it's for all the narratives the same, you know. And it's sometimes one of the most important questions, because a story changes with the point of view. So I started with one point of view, and I found it really boring writing. And so I played around. I played around from different to write same scenes from a different angle. And I found it interesting, actually. How does it change our way to see what to observe, or way to judge also what's happening in the scene? And so I thought it could be an interesting formal element, especially because what we said before, it's a lot about perception. So how is our perception influenced also from where we look at it, which has to do, of course, of how reality is built and how the truth is built nowadays with so many point of views we have in the public communication and the public perception.
Also very interesting and very wonderfully done, the camera work, the photography of the film. And you talk about perception, what kind of point of views you present and how they inform the story, the characters, and what the spectator can make of it. So I was interested to hear more about the collaboration with your director of photography, Clemens Hufnagel.
Actually, it's our second collaboration already with Clemens, and the camera positions are always like it's like offering the audience a really an exclusive point of view, but always from an angle which can possibly be from another character. So the camera is never on a crane or somewhere else where a non-human being could be. So it's kind of an observer, an invisible observer in the room. And the camera is moving basically a lot behind the character. So it's like when you're in a room and you feel invisible, and you are allowed to observe or to follow the characters without being seen. That was a bit the idea of the camera work.
Sache ist tot. Ich habe ihn begraben.
How you built those characters and what were the conflicts that you were really interested in?
You ask yourself a lot of questions now, because in this strange construction, what we call a family, it's an infinite source of conflicts actually, but it's also full of conventions and contradictions and everything, and you get assigned roles, no? And the father must be this kind, and the mother must be like that, and the kids should be like that. And I was actually it's something which is completely artificial, because life then is much more complicated than these roles. And I was interested in to see how actually we are not connected inside the families sometimes also, because everybody is living his own life and is struggling with his own problems. But then the picture for the outside is like this, the perfect family. It's this perfect model of a family. And I was somehow interested in looking behind this facade or behind this structure. And so, of course, the parents are much more influenced by the world around them or by their professional life. The kids are maybe more innocent, but at the same time, they have also their contradictions. So it was important for me not to build, the kids are the victims of the parents. It was important to everybody has his contradictions actually. So that the power relation is not adults against kids, but it's something like, it's more complex. It has more shades.
nichts mehr zu haben.
Du hast Blut im Gesicht.
C'est pas grave.
That the locations for you were very important. The house in Belgium and the setting there, the scenery was very important, or a very important starting point for you for the film, and how important they were for you to find them, and how they informed the story as well.
Yeah, locations are really important for me. So it's always a long journey to find the right ones. Especially here, as I said, it was one of the first ideas for the film. It was a visual idea, and was this Belgian coast. It was especially in the city of Blankenberge. I always try to imagine locations or where that they can also tell a story, or in sense of rather they support what the characters are going through, or they are completely the opposite. So they, as a contrast. And this is what happens to the character when they go to Belgium. It's actually they go in their private space, and they are not the perfect family anymore. So locations are fundamental for me to tell the story actually.
Kriegst mich eh nicht. Komm schon.
Of course, now the film is just being released. We're going to have a screening in June, hopefully with as many people in the audience as possible, and then we can talk about the film also a little bit more in detail, because of course we didn't want to spoil too much right now. But are there already any new projects lined up, any new ideas in your head for the future?
I thought I could use a bit better this time of the lockdown to write, but actually I feel that you have to come to an end with one project to start another. In my case, at least, I feel that, and so it was really important now that there is a possibility to say, okay, now the film is finished. Let's give it to the audience, and then I can. It feels now better to start writing, or to go on writing.
Absolutely, then it's something that we can look forward to in the coming years. But first, I wish you many wonderful festivals. Of course, we're going to see each other in June here in Berlin, as I said, and I hope you can share the film live, in person with as many people as possible, and to discuss it. And thank you very much for being here today, and thank you very much for this wonderful film, and I hope we'll see you soon.
Thank you for having us, and looking forward to come to Berlin.